The Miami Heat actually looked like the Miami Heat last night as they defeated the Golden State Warriors and Jimmy Butler in blowout fashion, winning 112 to 86. I am Nic Rohloff. This is the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am going to go through my entire reaction of what went on last night, what transpired before the game, after the game, during the game, and then we'll also take a look at where the updated NBA draft standings are for Miami with 10 games to go left in the regular season. But, I mean, I'm fired up about the Heat getting this win. Bam Adebayo looked great. They shut down Jimmy Butler, which was fun. Tyler Herro played efficiently as well. If you're like me, if you're fired up, are you excited about the Heat's win as they welcome Jimmy Butler back to Miami in not such a nice way? Hit that like button. Show me how excited you are. Now, if we're going to be honest, that was the best Heat game they played in 2 months. Like, legitimately, they look like a competent basketball team. Again, if you just took off the blinders and did not look at what has happened over the past couple of months, you would think, okay, that's an NBA playoff basketball team. That team surely did not just end a 10-game losing streak 2 days ago. That's how good they played. And it's kind of frustrating, if you will. I understand with Jimmy Butler returning to 305, this Heat team was going to be extra motivated. They're going to be extra locked in. They're going to play inspired basketball. But seriously, where has this been? If they played that hard, with that intensity, with the effort, the attention to detail, both offensively and defensively, they would not have just lost 10 games. And guess what? I think we'd be in the NBA playoffs. Although Detroit has looked very good over the past 2 months. Milwaukee Bucks continue to look good, but man, prayers out to Dame. That blood clot, that's serious. Hopefully he recovers good there. But if you just talk basketball here, like the Heat play serious, and they look like they did last night and played with that intensity and effort, they would be in the postseason, in my opinion. But we got to transition and talk about Bam Adebayo because what he did last night was, it was chef's kiss. It was the Mona Lisa. The way that he played yesterday was the way I need him to play every single day. Like, he just dominated that matchup between him and Jimmy Butler. And if you watched our video that we put out on the Tuesday morning before the game where Jimmy returned, I said the one thing that I need the absolute most in this game is that Bam Adebayo defends Jimmy Butler. And boy, Jimmy played 29 minutes. If Bam was on the floor, he was guarding Jimmy the entire time. And you see Butler's numbers. He didn't have any impact in this game. Was a non-factor on the offensive end. And Adebayo, in other words, was the complete opposite. 27 points, 8 boards, shot 50% from the field. It was right from the jump. He had 13 points in the first quarter, and there was intention. There was malice. The way he would attack inside, there was just a look in Bam's eyes last night that I don't know if I've ever seen before. I'm not kidding. Bam's played in NBA Finals. He's played in Eastern Conference Finals. He's played in winner-take-all games, Game 7s. I don't know if I've ever seen Bam Adebayo that locked in from the very jump, both offensively and defensively. He wanted all the smoke, man. He wanted the task of guarding Jimmy Butler. I saw Brady Hawk mention this in the first quarter of the game, but usually the Heat switch a lot of their screens. They're a switching scheme. That's how Eric Spoelstra likes to play defense. Yesterday, Bam Adebayo fought through every single screen to make sure that another player was not guarding Jimmy Butler. And you saw Jimmy didn't score at all last night. He had 2 points at the half. The entire Warriors starting lineup all had 2 points, respectively. Like, Bam looked like a top 10 player in the world yesterday. And it's frustrating because it's like, well, Bam, why don't you give us this every night? And I know it's hard to do that every night, play with that intensity on both ends of the floor. But you do that, you're going to be looked at as a top 15 player in the world, and you're going to be someone that can be a number one option or at least a high two-way option that can lead a team to the NBA playoffs. I was very impressed by Bam, but it just leaves me wanting more. Like, do that more often, please. But either way, I'll take the performance from Adebayo last night. Show some love to number 13. Spam his jersey number down in the comment sections. My captain. Spam number 13 down below because what he did yesterday was truly, truly special. I also want to show some love to the other guy, Tyler Herro, who had An odd game. I'll say odd because it was just so unexpected. If you were to ask me how Herro would have played against the Warriors, I would have never guessed it would have been like this. He played efficient, 20 points, 7 of 10 from the field, 4 of 4 from 3. Had 7 assists, only 2 turnovers, none at the first half when the Heat led by 17. Like, I was so impressed by Tyler Herro last night because we know this. Herro is a very emotional basketball player. Not in terms of acting out and raging on the basketball court, but the way he plays. Like, when he doesn't make his shots, you can tell that he's not as locked in on the defensive end of the floor. When the Heat are making a run, he will always take that momentum shot that is a three-pointer to try to put the opponent to sleep, the kill shot, as we call it. And going into last night's game, I anticipated the emotions, Jimmy Butler's return, maybe getting to Tyler Herro, and him trying to force the action too much. Maybe jack more than he should have. But he didn't get swayed by the emotions. He stayed calm. Golden State and Steve Kerr threw a lot of defensive looks at him, whether it was Gary Payton, doubling him off of screens, getting the ball out of his hands at the midcourt action rather than letting him get downhill. He didn't force anything. He only took 10 shots, but he was able to get 20 points because he took 4 threes. He made all 4. They were all wide open besides the corner 3 at the buzzer right in front of the bench at the end of the first half. He took what the defense gave him. He facilitated for others. And then when it was his time to get by his defender, get inside the three-point arc, he just was so calm and had that little one-legged floater locked in. And boy, am I impressed at how efficient he's become at that shot. He'll pull up on a one-legged floater from the elbow. That's how comfortable he is with the shot. I was impressive by Tyler not forcing anything offensively. It was one of the better performances I've seen from him over the past 2 or 3 months as well, because he took what the defense gave him and was efficient and was intentional with every move he made on the offensive end. Had some gnarly passes, too, to open players. Shout out Alec Burks. We didn't talk about him. He had 17 points, started in place of Duncan Robinson. All right, we're going to talk about more here coming up in just a second, but I got to show some love to PrizePicks, the sponsor on today's show. I play PrizePicks every day. All I do is pick more or less on 2 or more player stat projections, and if you customize the way you play, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can mix and match player projections from different sports, combine basketball, collegiate, professional, baseball getting underway on Thursday, hockey, esports, and much more. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. They also offer weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts. Taco Tuesday is one of them. Flex Friday is another. You can play any way you want on PrizePicks. I'm a big collegiate basketball guy. I've got an entry in for the Sweet 16. Take advantage of the free square from PrizePicks, more than Cooper Flag, half a point. And then I'll also pair that up with Chris Youngblood, more than 9.5 points for Alabama, more than Emmanuel Sharp, 1.5 3-pointers, and then less than Janai Broom, 31 points, rebounds, assists from Auburn. That's a 4-player entry right there. Take my picks, take other picks, but join the millions on PrizePicks right now. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, so I want to start today's show by showing love to the Heat's players, Tyler Herro, Bam Adebayo, and how they performed. But now I want to go back to what Jimmy Butler did, because I thought what he did last night was a little bit soft, and I was honestly disappointed. But the Heat fans, I thought, brought it, despite what Bobby Marks went on Get Up this morning and said about he was disgusted almost by the Heat fans showing Jimmy love when he was introed in the game and then during the tribute video. But they booed him for the rest of the game, so I don't understand where he's getting that at. But Jimmy's night last night. Let's start with the beginning. Didn't say hi to anyone in the warm-ups. No one. I know, I get it. It's not common where they're going to be dapping up, having conversations, but you would think after being teammates with some of these guys for 5-6 seasons and him consistently saying in the public eye that there's no bad blood between him and the players on the Heat team, it's just the front office, you would have him say hi. The only person they say hi to Jimmy Butler in warm-ups was Kevin Love. After that ass beating he took last night, went right to the locker room. Didn't say hi to anyone after the game. Meanwhile, the entire Warriors team mobbed Andrew Wiggins. Clearly good relationships there. Bam Adebayo was talking to Steph Curry at midcourt. Jimmy Butler, coward, went right back to the locker room. Didn't like that from Jimmy. He didn't guard Bam Adebayo. He guarded Kel'el Ware instead for the most part and was free safetying on defense. Bam took the matchup personally. Jimmy didn't. Thought that was soft, and then he got clamped up by both Bam, Andrew Wiggins, and Haywood Highsmith when he came off the bench. Thought Jimmy's night, if you were to look from a Jimmy Butler fan personally, couldn't have got any worse than that if you were rooting for him to have more success in the Heat last night. And when you look at what happened last night, I think every Heat fan could say that last night was as perfect as it could have gotten for Miami. Even if you are someone like me who wants the Heat to sneaky tank and get a top 8 pick and lose, or if you are a Jimmy Butler super fan and root for him over the Miami Heat now, which I think is disgusting because I don't think you consider yourself a Heat fan if you do that. But that's neither here nor there. You should be very excited about last night's game. It was absolutely awesome to see the Heat come together, play their best basketball, maybe since the trade deadline, and get a win and whoop that ass. It was absolutely awesome. All right, hit that sub button because we're talking Miami Heat basketball every single day. Currently have 20,172 subscribers. Thank you, everyone here. We are 28 away from 20,200. Let's get there on today's show. We talk Heat basketball every day around here. Also, we're live for the remainder of the season for the Heat games, so join the channel today. All right, let's look at that remaining schedule because after last night's game, the Heat currently have a 31-41 record, 10 games to go, and these are the 10. They'll take on the Hawks on Thursday, then they're in Philly and Washington, then they have a couple rough games against Boston, Memphis, Milwaukee, before ending the year against 4 teams all in the lottery, Philadelphia, Chicago, New Orleans, and Washington. I joke because it's not going to happen, but if you were to ask me what my preferred outcome was for the final 10 games of the year, yep, sign me up for another 10-game losing streak. Like, I always said this. The one game I wanted the Heat to win the rest of the season was to beat Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors in Miami. But other than that, this Heat team is not going to win a playoff series. Even if they somehow won 2 play-in games and were playing the Boston Celtics or Cleveland Cavaliers, which is likely going to be Cleveland in the 8th seed, they're not going to win. They might win 1 game, maybe, but they'll lose in 5. Like, it'll be a gentleman's sweep, if that. This season is going nowhere. What's the point of making the postseason? To me, this is a loaded NBA draft class. I'll take a lottery pick, specifically if they lose most of these games the rest of the way in the top 10, and that would just be ideal. As we're filming this on March 26, 2025, the Heat have the 8th overall pick odds. Remember, their 2025 pick this year is top 14 protected. So if they miss the postseason, they keep their pick. If they make the playoffs, it goes to Oklahoma City. And then they have the 21st overall pick, that one coming from the Golden State Warriors. That pick is top 10 protected. So if that stays out of the top 10, the Heat will get that pick from Golden State, which it seems like they are going to make the postseason with how they have played. It's currently 21st overall. But this win last night was a double whammy. One, it was good to see a win against Jimmy Butler, but it also helps you a little bit in your draft standings with the Warriors pick. That loss moves them down. The Warriors have now lost a couple games in a row here, and there is a chance, I was looking at the draft standings this morning, that pick for Golden State, although it's 21 right now, could fall all the way down to 17. It is very bunched up between the 17th pick and the 21st pick. Teams like Indiana, teams like Milwaukee, team like Minnesota. There's a bunch of these teams here between 17 and 21, all within a half game of each other. So, yeah, Golden State might still make the postseason as an 8 seed, but their record might be below all these other teams and ultimately be in that 17th range, which obviously if you're a Heat fan and you have 2 picks, it'd be nice to be picking at 8 or higher and then 17. Or if the Heat somehow make the playoffs, you'd want that Golden State pick to be as high as possible. So beating the Warriors helps you out a little bit there. Hopefully Golden State falters a little bit down the stretch of this 10-game kind of road trip they're on and to end the season. So they ultimately make the playoffs because I still want that pick, but are picking around 15, 16, 17 rather than 21, 22, 23. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you do follow me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. I'm talking Heat basketball more over there. We'll have you covered with everything you need to know around this basketball team in between our YouTube videos over at Nic_Rohloff.